The rain fell like needles from the alien sky. Black clouds moved over the jungle, and lightning lit up strange, twisted trees. The ground was wet, and the air smelled like metal and wild plants. In the middle of this unknown world, a broken escape pod lay on its side, smoke rising, pieces of metal scattered everywhere inside the wreck. A lone human moved. His name was Ethan Cole, an engineer from Earth. His hands were shaking as he pushed the broken door open. His body hurt from the crash, and his head spun, but he forced himself to stand. Around him, the jungle was silent. Too silent. No birds. No insects. Only wind and heavy rain. He was alone. At least, that's what he thought. Ethan picked up his survival pack and stepped outside. His boots sank into the muddy ground. Strange blue plants glowed in the dark, like veins of light. Roots twisted like snakes. The whole place felt alive, as if it was watching him. He took a breath and whispered to himself, "Don't panic. Find shelter. Fix the signal. Get rescued." But the moment he started walking, he heard a sound, a small cry, weak, scared, like something begging for help. Ethan froze. His heartbeat got faster. He slowly turned toward the trees. There, between the roots and glowing plants, two shining eyes appeared. Small, bright eyes. Watching him, he took one careful step closer, lifting his flashlight. Something moved, not a monster, not a threat. A cub, small, thin, and shaking from the cold. Its fur was a mix of blue and silver, with faint stripes. It looked like a cross between a lion and a tiger, but alien-long ears, glowing markings on its shoulders, and sharp claws that looked too big for its tiny body. The cub's stomach growled loudly. It looked hungry. Starving. Ethan crouched slowly so he wouldn't scare it. "Hey there. I won't hurt you," he said in a calm voice. The cub backed up, growling softly, but its legs were too weak. It stumbled. Ethan noticed the fear in its eyes, but also intelligence. Like it understood him, he opened his ration pack, broke a piece of nutrient bar, and placed it on the ground. The cub sniffed the air. It hesitated for a moment, then moved closer. It ate quickly, like it hadn't tasted food in days. Ethan watched carefully. He didn't know if feeding an alien was safe or smart, but something inside him felt this was the right thing to do. "Good," he whispered. "Eat. You need it." The cub finished and looked up at him. For a moment, they just stared at each other, rain falling between them. There was something strange in the cub's expression, like gratitude or recognition. Then, without warning, the cub turned and ran back into the jungle. Ethan sighed. "Figures. Even aliens run away from me." He stood up, checked his pack, and started walking toward a rocky cliff where he could set up camp. But before he could go far, the ground trembled. A heavy sound. Thump. 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 The trees shook. Branches cracked. The air changed. Something big was moving in the forest. Bigger than any animal he had ever seen. Ethan's flashlight flickered. He slowly stepped backward. Every instinct screamed at him to run, but he couldn't move. Those glowing blue plants lit up brighter, like they were reacting to whatever was approaching. The cub's cry echoed again, but this time it wasn't alone. A deeper roar answered, not a roar of hunger, not a roar of rage, a roar of warning. Ethan swallowed hard. His voice trembled. I shouldn't have fed that cub, should I?" The shadows split apart. Trees bent aside like something massive was walking through them. Ethan could not see it clearly yet, but he felt its presence, a power like a storm, a predator, a ruler of this jungle. The cub's parent, its protector. Something intelligent, not something dangerous. A flash of lightning revealed a silhouette, tall, strong, shaped like a tigress, but not fully animal, not fully human. Golden eyes burning through the darkness. Ethan's breath caught in his throat. The creature stopped just at the edge of the light, watching him, judging him, like it was deciding if he deserved to. Live, Ethan's voice was barely a whisper. "Hello?" The jungle went silent thought, and in that silence, the creature finally stepped forward. The creature stepped into the light slowly, like a queen entering her throne room. Her body was powerful like a tigress, but her posture, almost human. Blue fur shifted with the rain, silver stripes glowing softly like burning starlight. Her eyes were golden, sharp, intelligent eyes that understood more than an animal should. Ethan couldn't look away. The huge alien tigress stopped a few steps from him. She stood taller than him, muscles coiled like steel wires under her fur. Her claws were long enough to tear through metal, but she didn't raise them. She only stared, studying him, judging him. The cub peeked out from behind her leg, looking up at Ethan like it remembered the kindness. For a moment, time stood still. Then the creature spoke not in human language, not in words, but in a voice half growl, half echo inside Ethan's mind, like she was reaching into his thoughts. "You fed my child." Ethan's breath caught. The voice was deep and smooth, like thunder wrapped in silk. He didn't know if she was speaking telepathically, or if his mind was just changing the sounds into words. He forced himself to speak. "It was starving. I couldn't watch it die." Lightning flashed, and she leaned closer, her golden eyes inches from his face. He could feel her breath hot, wild, like the heart of a storm. She smelled like wet grass, steel, and something like starlight. "On this planet," she growled, "mercy can be dangerous." Ethan didn't move. His boots stayed planted. His fear tried to control him, but something stronger held him in place. Maybe courage. Maybe stupidity. Maybe both. "I don't regret helping," he said quietly. "If that's a problem, then do what you need to." The tigress exhaled, a low rumbling sound like distant thunder. She expected fear. She smelled fear. But Ethan offered none. That made her pause. Finally, she spoke again. "I am Soraya." The name fit her strong, ancient, powerful. Ethan nodded nervously. "I'm Ethan. Ethan Cole." The cub made a soft chirping sound and nudged Soraya's leg. She lowered her head slightly. Not aggressive, more like a test. "Why are you here, Ethan Cole?" "My ship crashed," he said. "I'm stranded. I'm trying to repair my signal transmitter so I can call for rescue." Soraya's eyes narrowed. "Rescue will not come." Ethan's chest tightened. "Why not?" The wind howled through the trees, as if the jungle itself answered before she did. "The sky is watched," she said. "Hunters roam this land. They smell you already." A sudden scream cut across the jungle. Not human. Not animal. Something else. Something hunting. Ethan turned toward the sound, his pulse racing. What was that? Soraya didn't look away from him. Death moving closer. Ethan grabbed his pack. "I need shelter, tools, somewhere to fix my equipment." Soraya tilted her head. Rain dripped from her fur. "You want safety. But safety has a price." She stepped back, her massive form still blocking his path like a living wall. The cub curled around her feet. "You fed my young. Now the jungle will whisper your scent to the hunters. If you leave alone, you die alone." Ethan felt his throat tighten. The rules of this planet were simple. Kindness was a risk. Survival was a bargain. "What do you want from me?" he asked. Soraya stared into his eyes like she could see every memory he had ever lived. "You are an engineer. Machines follow your hands. We need that." This time, he understood. Her tribe was in trouble. They needed repairs, weapons, defenses. They needed a human's mind. And if I help? He asked. Saraya's tail flicked, sending drops of rain flying. I will protect you. Behind them, the jungle roared. Shadows moved. Something large, many things, creeping closer. Ethan could see them glowing red eyes blinking between trees. The hunters Saraya warned about, they were coming. Ethan's choice was simple. Go with Saraya and maybe survive. Or run alone and definitely die. He took a breath. Okay, I'll help. Take me with you. The cub chirped happily, jumping in place. Saraya turned and walked deeper into the jungle, her tail swaying like a signal. Follow. Do not fall behind. They wait for the slow. Ethan followed. The jungle got darker with every step. Blue plants glowed like constellations under his boots. Strange shapes moved above in the trees. Silent watchers with too many eyes. The cub stayed close to Ethan's leg like it had, already chosen him dot as they reached deeper into the wilderness. Ethan felt the world change around him. The air buzzed with energy. Vines hummed like wires. Stones glowed like they powered something ancient. Saraya finally stopped. Ahead, hidden between giant roots and glowing crystals, was something Ethan never expected. A village, not human. Not safe, but alive. Figures like Saraya tall, feline, powerful watched him from the shadows. Some growled. Some whispered. All of them stared at the human who fed their future. Saraya stepped forward, voice echoing like a command. He saved my child. He is under my protection. Harm him, and you answer to me. The whispers stopped. Ethan realized something shocking. He didn't just save a cub. He unknowingly earned the attention of a queen. And queens always demand something in return. Ethan stood in the center of the alien village, rain dripping from his hair and clothes. The glowing crystals around him lit the ground with blue and violet light, like stars trapped in stone. Villagers watched him with cold eyes, some full of curiosity, others filled with fear or anger. None of them trusted a human. Saraya, the Tigress Queen, stood at his side like a living shield. The cub pressed against Ethan's leg, purring softly as if trying to protect him with its tiny body. Saraya raised her voice so every villager could hear. He is mine to command, mine to judge, mine to protect. The other Tigress warriors lowered their heads. Ethan felt the weight of her words, like chains, or maybe like armor. He wasn't sure. She turned to him. Come, we speak away from their ears. Ethan followed her into a large den built from roots and stone, shaped like a cave, but glowing with crystal veins. The air hummed with strange power. It felt ancient. Older than anything human. Inside, Saraya faced him. Her golden eyes did not blink. You helped my child. Now you will help my people. Ethan rubbed his arm nervously. I'll do what I can. I'm just one man. Saraya stepped closer, towering over him. One human saved a cub. One human may save a tribe. She lowered her head, her voice dropping to a rumbling whisper. We are hunted. Ethan remembered the screams in the jungle. By who? Those things from earlier? Saraya nodded. Reptilian soldiers. We call them the Skarn. They come from the swamps. They steal our land. They steal our resources. They kill our young. Her claws dug into the ground. Her tail lashed with anger. They want extinction. We want survival. Which side are you on, Ethan Cole? Ethan felt fear rise in his stomach. No rescue signals would save him soon. No human army was coming. This planet was now his battlefield, like it or not. He took a slow breath. I'm on the side that doesn't kill children. Something changed in Saraya's expression. Something small but important. Respect, trust maybe. Or maybe she was deciding he was useful. She gestured toward the back of the den. Then come. I will show you why I need you. Ethan followed her through a passage until the tunnel widened into a chamber. Inside were machines, broken metal, shattered devices, strange alien technology mixed with human scrap from past crashes. Engines, weapons, power cores, all damaged. Ethan stared. Where did you get this? Many humans crashed here, Saraya answered. None left. The words hit him hard, like cold fingers gripping his spine. He crouched near a damaged device. A transmitter, a power coil, a stabilizer. He knew these machines. Maybe not perfectly, but enough. His hands moved by instinct, touching the tools, testing wires. It can be fixed, he whispered. Saraya's ears twitched. How long? A week, maybe less. If I get parts, and if the Skarn don't find us first. Saraya narrowed her eyes. They are already searching. The cub squeaked in fear, climbing into Ethan's lap. He stroked its head gently. Its fur was soft and warm, and for a moment the world felt less terrifying. Then heavy footsteps shook the earth outside. A roar echoed out, not Saraya's, not a villager's. Skarn patrol. Saraya's body tensed like a loaded weapon. They found us faster than expected. She moved toward the exit, claws gleaming. Do not leave this chamber. If they see you, they will mark you. They will hunt you across the stars. Ethan stood quickly. Wait, let me help. I can build traps, pressure triggers, shock bursts, something to slow them down. Saraya looked back at him. You would stand and fight with us? Ethan didn't answer with words. He grabbed the nearest toolkit and opened it. That was enough. A slow smile formed on Saraya's lips, dangerous, proud, almost regal. And maybe the stars chose you for a reason. She left to face the darkness. Ethan worked. Fast. His fingers flew across metal, connecting wires, twisting components. He built a shock trap from a damaged power cell. He rigged a trip device using a collapsing coil. He set up a signal jammer to confuse the Skarn scanners. His heart raced, but he kept going. I survived a crash, he thought. I can survive this too. Outside, battle sounds exploded. Roars, screams, metal clashing, laser fire. Saraya's voice shaking the jungle like thunder. Ethan wanted to run to help, but if he stepped out now, he would only die. Then a Skarn warrior burst into the chamber. Tall, scaled red armor. Eyes like burning knives. It hissed, raising a blade. The cub screamed. Ethan grabbed the shock trap and slammed it into the ground. A flash of blue lightning exploded across the chamber, electricity ripping through the Skarn's armor. It shook, convulsed, then collapsed. Smoking. Ethan stood shaking, chest heaving, trap sparking in his hand. He survived. He saved the cub. When Saraya returned, blood on her claws, she stared at Ethan. Not like prey, but like something new. Something dangerous. Something important. You killed a hunter, she whispered. Maybe you are not prey. Ethan wiped sweat from his forehead. Maybe I'm done running. The cub pressed against him, purring like victory. Saraya stepped closer, her voice low like a promise. If you stay, you will change this place. If you leave, the jungle will swallow you. Ethan looked around at the machines, the cub, Saraya's glowing eyes. He realized something. His planet was no longer just where he crashed. It was where he was needed. Night fell over the alien, jungle like a curtain of black smoke. The glowing plants dimmed, and the wind turned sharp and cold. Ethan stood near the entrance of the village, watching the trees move like living shadows. Every sound felt like danger. Every breeze felt like a warning. Saraya was on high alert too. Her eyes glowed like molten gold as she scanned the darkness. The cub stayed close to Ethan's feet, tail low, ears pinned back. It sensed something coming, something bad. "Stay close," Saraya ordered. Her voice was calm, but her claws were already out. The Skarn hunters never stop once they smell prey. Ethan swallowed hard. "How many are there?" "Too many," Saraya answered. 3 patrols, maybe more. They hunt in packs. They are near." Lightning cracked across the sky, and thunder rolled like the roar of a giant. Ethan felt the weight of the moment. This was not just survival anymore. This was war. The first Stiereg, Vahike. The first Skarn appeared like ghosts, silent, fast, shapes of red armor slipping between trees. Ethan saw glowing eyes first, then claws, then the steel weapons in their hands. Saraya stepped forward, her tail snapping like a whip. "I face them. You stay behind me." "No," Ethan said. "I can help." Saraya looked back, surprised. Not angry surprised. Humans usually beg to run. He stepped closer instead. She nodded once. Permission. Respect. The Skarn screamed a horrible sound like metal tearing and charged. Saraya met them with speed that almost broke reality. She slammed one against a tree, claws flashing like blue lightning. Sparks exploded from their armor. Ethan saw the second Skarn break past her and sprint toward the cub. Nitrogen monoxide. Ethan shouted without thinking. He threw his improvised shock device. It hit the Skarn and the chest blue energy blasted out, and the hunter fell, armor smoking. The cub ran to Ethan, trembling. He knelt and pulled it close. Saraya turned her head for 1 second. That 1 second changed everything. Something huge moved behind them. The giant of the swamp's roar shook the ground. Leaves rained down. Trees cracked. The Skarn leader stepped into the clearing, a giant reptilian beast covered in black armor, twice as tall as Saraya. Its eyes burned like red suns. Ethan froze. His legs felt like stone. Saraya growled, a sound so deep it shook the air. The warlord. The giant Skarn pointed its blade at Ethan. The human dies first. Ethan felt his heart stop. Saraya moved faster than breath. She blocked the strike, her claws scraping against the warlord's blade. Sparks exploded like fireworks. "Ethan," she growled, pushing back. "Run." Ethan didn't move. He couldn't. His body refused. His fear was real, but something inside him refused to abandon her. He grabbed a broken metal piece from the ground, sharp, heavy. "If I run, you die. If you die, we all die." Saraya's eyes widened. Something like pride flickered there. The warlord struck again. Saraya dodged, but barely. Ethan rushed forward, stabbing the metal into exposed wiring on the creature's armor. Electricity sparked. The warlord roared and smashed Ethan backward. Wind exploded from his lungs. He hit the ground hard. The cub cried out and ran to him, nudging his face like begging him to stand. His vision blurred. But he got up anyway. Togathasaria leaped at the warlord, claws digging in. She held him for seconds, just long enough. Ethan dragged himself to the control box of his repaired coil. His hands shook, but he forced the wires together. "Come on. Work. Work." The machine whined. The coil glowed. A pulse of blue power built up like a storm in a bottle. "Saraya!" Ethan shouted. She understood instantly. She shoved the warlord backward right onto the coil. Ethan hit the switch. Blast of energy exploded outward. Blue lightning wrapped around the warlord like chains of pure power. It screamed, armor cracking, body convulsing. The other Skarn ran, terrified. When the light faded, the warlord fell dead. Smoke rose from its armor. Silence. Only rain and breathing. Ethan dropped to his knees, exhausted. Saraya stepped to him, her chest rising and falling. She looked at him, truly looked, as if she was seeing him for the first time. You stood with me, she said quietly, not as prey, not as weakness, as warrior. Ethan tried to smile. I didn't feel like a warrior. The cub climbed onto his lap, purring like it had already decided. Soraya knelt in front of Ethan, her massive form lowering to his level. From this moment, she said, my tribe owes you a life debt. I owe you a life debt. Ethan blinked. What does that mean? It means, she said, eyes burning like golden fire, you are no longer alone on this planet. Then she leaned closer, and the Skarn will return. With an army. Morning arrived slowly, with pale blue sunlight cutting through the jungle leaves. The night's battle felt like a nightmare, but the broken armor pieces and burned ground proved it was real. A heavy silence hung over the village. Not fear-preparation, but Ethan stood with Soraya near the damaged machines. The cub stayed by his feet like a tiny guard. Soraya's warriors worked around them, sharpening weapons and watching the forest with tense eyes. Ethan wiped sweat from his forehead. He barely slept. He knew something was coming. If the Skarn lost their leader, he said, they'll come back angry. They'll want revenge. Soraya nodded slowly. They will not forgive humiliation. They will not forget defeat. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were sharp. Ethan opened a panel on the transmitter he was trying to rebuild. If we want a chance, we need defenses. More traps. More time. Soraya crouched down beside him. You will have it. I will hold the line. He looked up at her. She was powerful like a predator, but in her eyes, he saw something different now. Trust, or something close to it. Cubby's T.A.K. Nathan stepped away to gather parts from the scrap pile. The cub followed him, playful, hopping on rocks. For a moment, the world felt peaceful. Then branches snapped, a flash of movement, a scream. Ethan spun around just in time to see. 2 Skarn scouts dropped from the trees. They grabbed the cub fast, brutal, and vanished back into the jungle before Ethan could even shout. Nitrogen monoxide. Ethan ran after them, but Soraya's arm blocked him like a wall. You go alone. You die, she growled. They have the cub. Ethan's voice cracked. We can't just... Soraya didn't let him finish. She roared, the sound shaking leaves from branches. We take it back. But we plan. We strike with minds, not fear. Ethan's fists tightened. They stole something innocent, something that trusted him. He wouldn't let that end here. The PLA and they gathered in a clearing around a stone map and ancient carving of the jungle. Soraya pointed to a swamp symbol marked with black paint. The Skarn camp is here. Their cages. Their weapons. Their leader's replacement. She looked at Ethan. We go together. You build the opening. I break their walls. Ethan nodded. I'll set traps around the swamp to block their exit paths. They can't run if we corner them. Soraya tilted her head. Explain your idea. Ethan knelt and drew lines in the dirt. We place noise traps here. Smoke bombs here. If they chase us, they get lost in the gas. If they try to escape, the alarms push them back toward us. It will confuse them. Soraya stared, impressed. Humans hide cleverness in small bodies. Ethan smirked. And you hide cities inside claws. For the first time, Soraya almost smiled. Not human, but something close. The RESU the swamp smelled like rust and rotten plants. Fog curled around the trees, hiding what waited inside. Ethan's heart pounded. Soraya walked beside him, muscles tense, every breath sharp with focus. They saw the Skarn cage's rough metal, glowing with red energy. And inside, the cub cried, trembling, calling out for its mother. Soraya's claws cut deep into the mud. They hurt my child. Ethan placed a hand on her arm. "We'll get it back, alive." They moved. Ethan planted traps quietly, like a ghost. Saraya took down guards silently, claws gliding like silver. They were different species, different worlds, but they moved like they had fought together for years. Then the alarm sounded. 2. Many Skarn, at least 20. They surrounded the cage. The new Skarn leader stepped forward, taller than the last, covered in bone armor. Its voice cut through the swamp like a blade. "Give us the human. We free the cub, refuse, and we break it." Ethan felt cold fear rise. His life for the cub? He almost stepped forward, but Saraya blocked him with her body, tail curved protectively around him. "You will not touch him," she growled. "He is under my protection." Ethan stared. She wasn't just defending him, she was claiming him as part of her tribe. The Skarn leader hissed. "Then you die with him." The defies Ethan threw the first move, pulling a wire. Smoke burst across the swamp, blinding the enemy. Saraya charged like lightning, claws cutting through armor. Ethan tackled a Skarn soldier before it reached the cub's cage. He ripped out the power connector, sparks flew, and the cage dropped open. The cub ran to him, burying itself in his arms. Ethan held it tight. The Skarn leader lunged. Saraya met him head-on. They hit like storms colliding. The ground shook. Claws slashed. Blades screamed. Saraya pushed him back, but the leader was too strong. Ethan looked around desperately. He grabbed a broken spear, ran, and stabbed the leader's leg. It wasn't enough to kill, but it gave Saraya the opening. She roared and drove her claws into his chest. The leader fell. Silence. Ethan collapsed, holding the cub. It cried into his chest. Saraya stood, breathing hard, body shaking with adrenaline. "You risked your life for a child that is not yours," she whispered. Ethan looked at her. "It needed me." Saraya lowered herself, her face inches from his. "Then you are not just human," she said softly. "You are ours now." The jungle smelled like danger. Heavy fog crawled across the ground, and every shadow felt alive. Ethan walked slowly, holding the alien cub close as it purred softly. The tigress alien mother followed beside him, moving with silent power. Her glowing stripes were brighter than before, like she was preparing for something big. Something deadly. Ethan's heart was beating fast. He did not know if he should feel safe with the alien tigress mother, or afraid of her. She was beautiful, powerful, dangerous like a storm in animal form. But she kept looking at him, not with anger, but with a strange emotion, almost like trust. "She is leading me somewhere," Ethan thought. "Somewhere important." The ground shook again. Boom, boom, boom. Something giant was walking behind them. Ethan turned. In the fog, several large shapes appeared. Not animals, not soldiers, but something in between. Alien creatures with metal plates in their skin, glowing eyes, and heavy mechanical breathing. They growled in a language Ethan did not understand. The alien tigress mother stood in front of him and released a deep roar. It was not an animal roar. It felt like a command, a warning, a threat. The ground vibrated beneath Ethan's feet. The creatures stopped. They lowered their heads. They feared her. Ethan realized something shocking. The tigress mother was not just a jungle animal. She was a leader, a queen, maybe even a ruler of this alien territory. The cub squirmed in Ethan's arms and made a soft cry. The creatures reacted instantly, stepping back like they heard the voice of a prince. Ethan suddenly understood. The cub was royalty, and by saving it, he had earned protection. But the danger was not over. A loud siren echoed through the jungle. Red lights flashed through the fog. A human helicopter appeared above the trees, marked with the logo of a secret government agency. Soldiers rappelled down with weapons ready. They aimed at Ethan first. "Don't move." A soldier shouted. Ethan froze. The cub hissed. The tigress mother growled, so loudly that birds scattered from the trees. A man stepped forward. He was dressed in a black uniform and wore glasses with a bright red lens on one eye. His voice was cold. "You fed the alien cub," he said. "That's a problem. Now it sees you as family. And its mother. She sees you as hers to protect." Ethan swallowed. "What do you want from me?" The man smirked. "We want the mother. We want to study her. And we want the cub. Hand them over, or we take all three of you." The tigress mother took a step forward. Her body glowed brighter, electricity dancing under her fur like living lightning. Ethan had a choice to make. He could step away and save himself, or stand beside her and face the soldiers. His hands shook. His fear was real, but he remembered the moment he fed the little cub. The cub trusted him. It chose him. And somehow, deep in his heart, Ethan felt something new, a sense of responsibility. Slowly, Ethan stepped forward. He stood beside the alien tigress mother. "I'm not giving them to you," he said, voice shaking but firm. "They're not your test subjects." The man in black nodded to his soldiers. "Very well. Take them all." Weapons clicked. Lasers lit up. The soldiers prepared to fire, but before a single shot was released, the alien tigress mother roared. The jungle responded. Trees shook, vines snapped, and hundreds of glowing eyes appeared in the darkness. Alien animals of all shapes and sizes emerged from the fogbirds with razor wings, wolves made of blue smoke, giant serpent-like cats with silver fangs. They formed a wall around Ethan and the tigress mother. The soldiers hesitated. Their fear spread like fire. "What is this place?" One soldier whispered. Ethan looked around, breath shaking. "This," he said, "is her kingdom." The man in black raised his hand again. "Fire!" A flash of light exploded, but the tigress mother leapt, grabbing Ethan and the cub in one powerful motion. She ran into the jungle with supernatural speed. Bullets and lasers exploded behind them. Trees fell. The earth cracked. The chase had begun. Ethan held the cub close, heart racing. The mother's muscles moved like thunder beneath him. She was not just running. She was fleeing to protect him, like he had once protected her child. Somewhere in the distance, a deep humming sound echoed. It was not human. It was not from Earth. Something huge was activating. A secret. A machine. A doorway. As they ran, Ethan saw it, a massive alien structure hidden under the jungle. A gate. A portal. Door to another world. The tigress mother was taking him straight to it. Rain fell harder now, like the sky was warning them. Ethan held the alien cub tightly as the tigress mother rushed through the trees. Behind them, soldiers shouted, lasers burned through the fog, and metal footsteps chased like angry thunder. The jungle animals continued to follow, protecting their queen. Ethan looked ahead. The giant alien structure was getting closer. Tall pillars, glowing symbols, and a swirling portal of blue light. It hummed like a heartbeat, like something alive, like a doorway that could change everything. "Where are you taking me?" Ethan whispered. The tigress mother didn't answer. She couldn't, but her glowing eyes turned toward him for a moment. There was meaning in her gaze, trust, warning, hope. Ethan understood. She wanted him safe. She wanted the cub safe. And she wanted him to decide if he would cross that door with them. The ground exploded behind them. Soldiers entered the clearing, weapons ready. The man in the black uniform stepped forward, cloak blowing in the storm wind. "Ethan," he shouted, "that portal leads to their planet. If they escape, Earth will lose control. Give us the cub, and you can walk away alive." Ethan felt fear again. His heart pounded like a drum. But he looked down at the cub in his arms and remembered the moment he fed it, the moment it trusted him, the moment it called its mother, not to kill him, but to thank him. He stepped closer to the portal. "No," Ethan said. "I won't betray them." The man in black raised his hand. "Then we take them by force." Everything happened at once. Soldiers fired. Alien animals attacked. Vines moved like living snakes. Wrapping around weapons, birds with razor wings cut through the air. The jungle roared like an army. The tigress mother leapt in front of Ethan, her body glowing like she was made of lightning. She roared louder than ever before, and the roar shook the earth. It felt like magic, like command, like the voice of a queen. One soldier fired a shot directly at Ethan. The tigress mother moved faster than thought. She jumped in front of him to take the hit, but something strange happened. The bullet never reached her. A blue barrier appeared, like a shield of energy. Ethan felt his arm burning. The alien gauntlet he wore had activated by itself. The shield came from him, from the gauntlet, from the bond he now shared with them. The soldiers froze, confused. The man in black stared, shocked. "The gauntlet responded to you?" Impossible. Ethan felt a pull, like the portal was calling him. He looked at the tigress mother. She looked back. For the first time, Ethan understood her eyes completely. She wasn't asking for help. She was inviting him to run, to escape, to live, with them. The cub pressed its head against Ethan's chest, purring softly. Like it had already chosen its future. Ethan swallowed, then spoke softly. "If I step through that portal, there's no coming back, is there?" The tigress mother blinked slowly, her version of an answer. Ethan turned and looked at Earth one last time. The jungle, the soldiers, the violence, the fear, the life he used to know. He looked at the portal, a new world, a future he never imagined, a world where danger was real, but so was purpose. So was destiny. He stepped. Forward. Soldiers charged. The tigress mother growled and leapt. The portal expanded. Wind roared. Light swallowed the clearing. Ethan ran into the blue light. With the cub in his arms. The tigress mother followed a heartbeat later. The portal closed. Like a door slamming shut. Silence. Then Ethan opened his eyes. He stood on a field under two moons. A silver forest waved in the wind. Strange stars glowed above like glittering fire. And in the distance, a city of alien towers, glowing like starlight made into stone. This was not Earth. This was there. World. Her world. The tigress mother stood beside him. The cub curled at his feet, and Ethan realized something. He didn't just save them. He belonged to them now. He was part of their story. Maybe even part of their future. He breathed slowly and whispered, "I guess this is home now." The tigress mother touched her forehead to his chest, a sign of respect, a sign of acceptance, a sign of a bond that would never break. Above them, thunder rolled, but it was not rain. It was ships. Warships. Coming through the sky. The real story was only beginning.